this if you want. वो वाला खत्म हो गया, वो छोटे जो थे ना, ये new ones today. This take na, these are also good. Then I have this which you won't like, country ka for the throat. इसमें taste अच्छा है, but it's good for the throat. Okay. So. What is going on now? Soil erosion and conservation. The text, I'll show you some videos on that. Soil erosion. The removal of topsoil cover by water, wind and human activities is called soil erosion. The removal of topsoil cover by water, wind and human activities is called soil erosion. Man is responsible for soil conditioning either through agriculture or through pollution like dumping of chemical waste in water bodies as well as underground. Besides human activity, soils are degraded in nature by nature during drought or flood. First is soil erosion by water. The first thing is sheet erosion, second is rill erosion, third gully erosion, fourth leaching, fifth sea or shore erosion. Sheet erosion. Sheet erosion by water. See, this has soil erosion, all three. Sheet erosion, rill erosion. See, first is sheet erosion, second is rill erosion, and third is gully. From the textbook, I'll just first read it. It occurs on gentle slopes, sheet erosion, first one. It occurs on gentle slopes and is the slow removal of a thin layer of soil when vegetation is destroyed. So you don't have vegetation, that's why there is no, the soil is not being held and there is erosion. Rainwater washes away the thin layer of bare soils. Second is rill erosion. When sheet erosion continues for long, the silt-laden runoff means what? All the silt that is being washed away. Many finger-shaped rills or grooves over a large area are formed. This is called rill erosion. It is the intermediate stage between sheet erosion and gully. Means sheet or gully के बीच का stage है, that is rill erosion. Then third is gully erosion. During heavy downpour means heavy rains, deep gullies are made on bare soils. Gullies means like nalas, on account of water runoff. Gully erosion removes nutrients and heavy load of loose soils, making the soil unproductive. Unproductive means you cannot grow crops over there, you cannot do anything over there. It makes water very muddy. This is seen in the Chambal Valley region. Okay, so these three are there in this. So I'll show you on this one.
You want to take your career to the next level, and you found some great e-learning videos that can do that. Unfortunately, these videos are scattered across many.
Soil erosion is the removal of soil by the agents of water or wind. Rainwater causes soil erosion where percolation of water is very slow. Main causes of soil erosion are absence of natural vegetation, steep slopes of the land, very less clay content in the soil. Effects of soil erosion includes removal of the fertile upper layer of the soil, decrease of groundwater table. Pebbles and sand remain on the upper layer of the soil.
Following are the remedial methods that we can follow. Plant more trees. Roots of the plants hold the soil against erosion. Practice strip cropping, contour plowing, terrace farming, etc. These measure.
See this strip cropping? In this, what they do, they put strips of grass. Like this is their crop, these are their crops, and these are strips of grass. So this prevents erosion. Terrace farming, that's along like steps. Then contour plowing, similar to this, where you will have these contours along a slope. So then this prevents, like similar to this, okay? So like steps kind of things are formed. Contours and embankments. So where you're like a dam where they're blocking the water.
Reduce the movement of water. Construct check dams. It reduces the speed of the river and ability to erode in the hilly regions. Dig soakaway pits for percolation pits. They reduce the runoff of water. There are 4 different types of soil. There are 4.
They reduce pit. Where over here, see here they've put these pipes here. So all the excess water that gets accumulated over here. And then here there's a drain. So again, if once it's filled, you have an outlet also.
Reduce the runoff of water. There are 4 different types of soil erosion. They are sheet erosion, rill erosion, gully erosion, and splash erosion.
Gully erosion. Deep channels are created due to the removal of soil on account of heavy rains. Region. Chambal Valley region. Sheet erosion. Removal of the thin sheet erosion due to the
deep channels. You can see this. How it's like the soil has got separated, broken kind of. So removal of soils on account of heavy rain. Chambal Valley. So this is see again in places where there is not much vegetation.
Removal of soil on account of heavy rains. Region. Chambal Valley region.
These are known as ravines. Chambal Valley region where you have these badlands, they are known as ravines.
Sheet erosion. Removal of the thin top layer of the soil by the rainwater. Region. Floodplains of Ganga, Brahmaputra, etc.
So this sheet erosion takes place like a
etc.
Like a sheet. The entire topsoil is removed.
Erosion. When sheet erosion continues for long, many finger-shaped rills forms over a large area.
These rills you can see. Gullies gullies were deeper. These are rills. When sheet erosion continues for long, many finger-shaped rills forms or grooves. Grooves are these holes, grooves. form over a large area. It is the intermediate stage between sheet erosion and gully erosion. Okay, ये और बढ़ जाता है, इस पे कंट्रोल नहीं रखते, then that turns into a gully erosion.
It is the intermediate stage between sheet erosion and gully erosion.
Gully erosion. Rill erosion. Sheet erosion. Channels are deep shallow channels, no channel for soil erosion. Streams cause soil erosion mainly in the hilly regions. Gentle slopes are affected mainly. Lose of fine material when rainwater flow away from the land. Change of the direction of the rivers are very rare. Channels are temporary or subjected to change. Soil is removed layer by layer and no channels are created. It is the soil erosion caused by a stream or river. Rainwater run off through a gentle sloping land. It creates temporary channels. Impact of raindrops mainly cause erosion. Subscribe our channel to know about the
Okay, understood these three: sheet erosion, rill erosion, and gully erosion. Then, leaching. After harvest, farmers leave the soils bare for some time. Bare means without any crops. Once their crops are harvested, it's there. There are no crops growing in that soil. So during rainfall, the nutrients in the soil are leached or percolated below the top layer. So what happens? Water has accumulated. So leaching. Leaching of soils.
What refers is the movement of nutrient elements from topsoil through the soil profile. Leaching causes significant nutrient losses, particularly in humid regions with high precipitation. Leaching is a natural process caused mainly by precipitation, acidification, and nitrogen saturation. Human activity greatly influences some of these factors and the amount of leaching that occurs. Precipitation. Soil leaching occurs most directly because of precipitating water carries.
Soil leaching occurs most directly because of precipitation. Whenever more water enters a system through precipitation than is lost through evaporation and transpiration means you have excess of water which has accumulated. The excess water leaves the area by moving downward, collecting in groundwater or emerging in surface water. This downward moving water carries the dissolved substances such as nutrients from the surface and the topsoil. The most important is topsoil. Even what is required for the growth of crops is a rich, nutrient-rich topsoil. So, what happens? The water, it doesn't have place to move off, neither is it evaporating fast. So it settles down. It moves downward. So when it moves down, along with it, it also takes the nutrients with itself away from the topsoil. So what topsoil क्या हो जाएगा? It will become less fertile. That is leaching. Okay. This downward movement carries moving water carries dissolved substances such as nutrients from the surface and topsoil. Commonly lost substances include iron, potassium, calcium, aluminium. I thought they would show some images, but Here is, you see this arrow they've shown. So this arrow shows that all the nutrients are going down, percolating. Here, see. Here there are no crops growing, so then there is leaching. Okay? Soil leaching. See, infiltration, leaching. A horizon is the topsoil. B horizon is the one below it, and the C horizon and parent material. So here what is happening, see? All your nutrients are going from the A horizon into the B horizon. A horizon चाहिए रहता है for doing your agriculture. Okay? So leaching. Then sea or shore erosion. The tidal waters of the course of the sea cause considerable damage to the soil along the coast. The powerful waves dash against the coast and break hanging cliff rocks. This is understood. They bang against the rocks and the coast and they break those rocks. The broken material is then removed by the retreating sea waves. Retreating sea waves mean those waves which are going behind. Last time we did retreating monsoon winds, right? So which is returning back. So it is then taken back by the sea waves. This type of sea erosion is seen throughout the eastern and western coasts of India. Then stream bank erosion. Streams and rivers change their courses by cutting one bank and depositing silt loads on the other. During flash floods, damage is accelerated. Accelerated means damage increases more. Stream bank erosion is prevalent in the floodplains of Ganga, Yamuna and other rivers. As a result of stream bank erosion, large areas of agricultural land in the states of Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan are getting transformed into ravines. What are ravines? I told you. What are ravines? Badlands. Like those gullies which had been formed where in the Chambal Valley. Then soil erosion due to human action. Did you read one para? You read one para.
Soil erosion due to human action. The loss of vegetation covers that leads to sheet erosion on hilly slopes because water instead of sinking into the ground washes the soil down. The second stage, AD, absence of vegetation cover and washing of the
absorbent topsoils.
Rills begin
to appear
on the landscape. In the third stage, the water run off during heavy rains may develop deep grooves causing gully erosion.
Correct. So here what did we say? The same thing that we spoke about in the earlier one. Where people are not doing agriculture, that leads to sheet erosion. Still not controlled, it leads to not gully. Gully is the third one. Rill erosion, where rills are formed, and then it converts to gully. Then second point.
The outer Himalayas, the western and eastern parts are subjected to deforestation by these areas also receive heavy monsoon rains.
अच्छा, outer Himalayas कौन से हैं? Yes, Shivalik. Which are they? There are three ranges. So Shivalik is the outermost range. Yes. See this one here. This is Shivalik. Okay, so Himalayas ke
Outer Himalayas are close to inside of India.
yes, outer is towards the inside. Like if we are seeing from India, then it is closer. It's the closest range. That is outer. Ulta hai वैसे. Normally we would perceive outer as the outermost. But here it is probably from the other direction that they have taken it, outermost. Okay. So there are three ranges. So 1, 2, and 3. So Shivalik is this. You can say the innermost range, but usko technically bolte hai outermost. Okay. हाँ. So the outer Himalayas, the Shivaliks. ठीक ना?
The western and eastern Ghats are subjected to deforestation by man. These areas also receive heavy monsoon rains. The removal of vegetation cover for different land use, like railway lines, roads, buildings, or even agriculture, has caused sheep, rill, and gully erosion. In these areas, local population practice shifting cultivation. The heavy rains can wash away the bare soil from the slopes to the valleys.
Another important cause of
Another important cause of sheep rill and gully erosion is uncontrolled grazing of domestic animals in the valleys and the upper slopes.
next erosion by wind.
Wind erosion refers to the movement and deposition of soil particles by wind. It occurs when soil devoid of vegetation is
Devoid of vegetation means without any vegetation growing, without any crops growing.
exposed to high velocity wind. Wind moves soil particles 0.1 to 0.5 mm size in bouncing or hopping fashion, and those greater than 0.5 mm by rolling. The former is known as saltation, and the latter as soil creep. These particles less than 0.1 mm or the finest particles detach into suspension. In fact, wind erosion is most visible in the suspension stage as the storms or subsequently as deposition along fence lines and across roads. Wind erosion reduces the productive capacity of soil as most of the nutrients required by the plants are carried away by the wind.
हाँ, तो यहाँ पे क्या दिया है? There are three things we have spoken about: saltation, soil creep, and suspension. This is as per the size of the soil particles. Okay. Now the former is known as saltation. Means saltation कितना है? 0.1 to 0.5 mm के soil particles. Okay. And the latter is known as soil creep. Creep means how much? Greater than 0.5 mm. तो जो heaviest रहते हैं, okay, greater than 0.5 mm. That is soil creep. Means what is happening? The soil is creeping. Soil चल के जा रहा है. Okay. Whereas the other one, which was that? Saltation. 0.1 to 0.5 mm. These are lighter than that. तो वो hop करके जाता है. That is saltation. And the third is less than 0.1 mm. वो कौन सा है? Suspension. Means those are so light that they are neither creeping nor are they hopping. They are suspended particles in the air. Okay. So the creeping one is known as soil creep. The hopping one is known as saltation, and lighter than that, suspended in the air, is suspension. Okay, these also you can see people to understand better. Okay, see this image. Can you see this image? See? क्या हो रही है? This one is soil creep. Huh? This one. ये saltation is this one. These are the heavy particles. कितने measurement वाले थे ये? हाँ, more than 0.5 mm वाले. These are the lighter ones. ये कितना था? Yes, less than. And these are less than 0.1. This was 0.1 to 0.5. And these are even lighter 0.1. So those are remaining suspended in the air. So that is erosion by wind. Causes of soil erosion.
Heavy population pressure on land. India's forest cover continues to be very low, just 21.54% of the total area. On the other hand, the population continues to rise at a rapid rate and has already crossed the 1 billion mark in the year 2000. More forests are being destroyed to house and feed the increasing population. The heavy pressure on land is the main cause of soil erosion.
This I understood, no population. Next, nature of rainfall.
Nature of rainfall. India receives 80 to 90% of rainfall in the monsoon season. Heavy downpour during monsoon months cause floods. In the remaining months, droughts are frequent. This affects the soil.
So sometimes there's heavy rainfall, floods, and sometimes there are droughts. Droughts are what?
Drying of land.
Drying of land. When there are no rains at all. So those are droughts. So extreme floods and extreme drought also affects the soil.
Overgrazing. The number of domestic animals, particularly the cattle in India, is the highest in the world. Cattle freely graze in open lands, making them bare of vegetation. Will carry away dry soil particles from bare landscape. Thus, soil erosion takes place. In many parts of Rajasthan, excessive grazing by cattle has resulted in exposure of the topsoil to element of
Denudation. Denudation means elements of weathering and erosion. Correct? So because of overgrazing, whatever little grass is there that's holding the soil, that also gets destroyed. Then bad farming techniques.
Poor farmer crop field in traditional ways, the farming techniques and small size of holding lead to soil erosion on large scale. The absence of
Terracing that we saw, no terrace farming. 1 minute. Yeah, you continue.
absence of terracing, contours, cultivation, crop rotation, and the improper use of manure, etc. have a cause serious problem of soil. And what is manure?
Manure is the fertilizers, manures and fertilizers. Manure is basically they use natural whatever cow dung and all that to put it on to give it to put it in the soil. Then topography.
The northeast part of the India, Shivalik and Hilly region in South India are affected by soil erosion because of steep slopes. During heavy rainfall, soil are washed away by running water down the slopes. Deforestation. Forests are destroyed so that more land can be used for cultivation. Cutting off the exposure to soil, water, and wind, which leads to soil erosion. Ma'am, I didn't understand the topography part.
Topography. Northeastern parts of India, Shivaliks and hilly regions of South India are affected by soil erosion because of steep slopes and heavy rainfall. So because the slope is steep and there is heavy rainfall and there are not enough trees growing there, the soil gets eroded and it is easily carried down, no? Because of the slope by running water and the slope. So these two combined add to the erosion. They speeden it. Then
The region of soil erosion.
इसको पढ़ने में ऐसा हो जाएगा नहीं ऐसा बैठे
In India, soil erosion is one of the great enemies of Indian agriculture, responsible for low agricultural productivity. According to an estimate, every year, rainwater alone washes out 1 by 8 centimeter thick fertile topsoil. Among the states, Rajasthan comes on the top of the soil eroded region, followed by Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, and Karnataka. The most affected areas include the badlands of the Chambal and the Yamuna rivers, the Piedmont zone of the western Himalayas, the Chota Nagar, the Chota Nagpur plateau region, the Tapi Sabarmati Valley region in Gujarat, the regular soil area of Maharashtra, and the entire areas of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Haryana.
now prevention. For prevention you have terrace farming. Okay, see here you can see 4 of those over here. That's terrace farming, shelter belts, contour plowing and strip cropping. Okay, this plugging gullies I'll show you.
Construction of dam, plugging gullies, planting trees.
Those are not there in these, but I'll show you. Construction of dams is okay, understandable. Plugging gullies, I'll show you a video on that. Okay, so you'll understand what actually they are doing. Plugging gullies is like blocking gullies. Okay, but we'll see. So when you see it, you'll understand better. So what is contour plowing? We saw in that video also. What are they doing? They are forming these contours. Plowing along the contour lines decelerates the flow of water. So because the flow of water down the slope is getting slowed down, that's why the amount of erosion is also reducing. So contour plowing helps in conserving the soil. Terrace cultivation, you can see here how they formed like steps kind of things, right? So terrace cultivation also restricts erosion. It's on the same lines as contour plowing. So here contours are formed and it's like steps. This type of agriculture is done in western and central Himalayas. ये क्या है? See, strip cropping. When a large field is divided into strips and strips of grass are left to grow between the crops. This then breaks up the force of the wind, because in between you have grass growing, the force of the wind reduces, and because of that your erosion is less. Here you can, this is known as strip cropping. Here see, you can see strips of corn and hay. So this is the hay and this is the corn. Then next is shelter belts. Shelter belt is what? See here, what can you see? You have this area, here you have your crops. This is the arrows which are showing the direction of the dominant wind, of the winds blowing. क्या drawing कर रहे हो? इधर देख. This is showing the arrow which shows the direction of the winds. And here you can see it's written 3 strata barrier. So they have formed 3 layers of barriers, obstructions, to obstruct the wind from going. So that is going to prevent erosion. See, planting of trees to create shelter helps in the stabilization of sand dunes. So this is not only here, it also helps in stabilizing the sand dunes and stabilizing the deserts in Western India, Rows of such trees are called shelter beds. See here in this. Farmers plant trees in several rows to check wind erosion. They are known as windbreaks, shelter beds. वो वाला point. Second वाला. So these are also known as windbreaks क्योंकि वो wind को block कर रहा है, right? So windbreaks. Okay, read terrace farming. Read अभी सब. Up to strip cropping you read. Let him only होगा ये सो जाएगा. उधर ड्राइंग कर रहा है, उधर नीचे करके बैठा है.
On hilly slopes, terraces act as fronts to prevent the soil from being washed away by running water. Terrace farming is practiced with a successful result in Japan, Southeast Asia, and the USA. Shelter belts, farmers plant trees in several rows to check wind erosion. They are known as windbreaks. Contour plowing.
And so those trees stop living in erosion.
They stop wind, no? So it helps in preventing erosion by wind.
Contour plowing along contours on a slope prevents soil being washed away by rainwater or by surface runoff. Contours act like bunds. Terraces are leveled into step-like small fields with even slope. Contour plowing is common in Japan, China, and some Southeast Asian countries. Strip cropping, crops are grown in alternate strips of land. Check soil erosion by water or wind. The crops like hay and wheat are alternated with strips of crops such as corn, soybeans, and cotton. This method helps to prevent soil erosion by having the roots of crops hold on to the soil and prevent it from being washed by water and or wind. Construction of dams, rivers cause soil erosion. Dams are built in the upper course of river to control erosion of soil. Plugging gullies, the gullies made in the soil are plugged with deposition of silt during heavy rains. Planting trees, the trees like in the case of shelter belts are planted along the edge of the field, the wasteland, and on steep slopes to prevent soil erosion, as well as to enhance the capacity of the soil to retain water.
See this point of plugging gullies. What is being done?
গালি বলতে বোঝায় বৃষ্টির জলস্রোতের সৃষ্ট
Language ignore.
বা নালা।
Should I try this? इसमें ये रहेगा unavailable. Just see the video, huh?
এই ধরনের খাতের উপর
See this, what did they do? This gully has been formed. ये gully form हो गया, correct? From where there's water flowing. They're plugging it now. See here? ये stones रखा and they built like a wall. See this? Imagine, see the amount of erosion here. See this? See this?
গালি প্লাগ
You all understand now what
খাত
the
বা
line?
নালাটির উপর সারিতে পরপর
See, एक को भी समझता है.
যাতে
See this?
একটি
How
টানা
they
ঢালু খাতকে সারিতে কতগুলি সমান অনুভূমিক খাতে পরিণত করা যায়। এটা আগে পরিষ্কার করে নেওয়া হয় যাতে দুদিকেই উপযুক্ত ঢাল থাকে। উপরের দিকে বা জল যেদিক থেকে আসে সেদিকে উপরের অববাহিকা থেকে বয়ে আসা বৃষ্টির জলের বেশিরভাগটা গালি প্লাগের দুদিকের দেয়ালের কোনো রকম ক্ষতি না করে
The water is flowing, but the soil erosion is being controlled.
বাঁধের উপরের থেকে জল আসা ও নিচের দিকে জল বয়ে যাওয়ার পথ তৈরি করা যায়, যেখানে খাতের জল এর মধ্যে পুরো টাকাটাই মজুরি হিসেবে ব্যয় হয়। বয়ে আসা জলের গতি কমায়, ফলে ভূমিক্ষয়
That's plugging gullies. Okay. Then soil conservation.
Soil conservation means prevention of soil loss and erosion, prevention of reduced fertility of soil caused by overusage, acidification, salinization, or other types of soil contamination. There is an acute need to prevent soil erosion because of its adverse effects, which include the following: loss of fertile topsoil together with its mineral nutrients on the upper surface lead to gradual loss of soil fertility and agricultural productivity. Lowering of the water table and decreasing soil moisture.
Lowering of the water table, you'll understand now what it is. Beneath the earth. Lowering of the water table.
I think we should explore a few solutions.
Grammarly suggestions catch.
During our farm basics time today, we're going to talk about what is a water table and how can you manage it.
Well, this is certainly a big topic, not just in farming, but really everywhere. I think about it around my house. Where's the water table at? And if we get a lot of rain, I'm really nervous about, man, is that water table rising? Because I might see water in my cell phone.
Okay, so what the water table really is, that's the level of the overall soil water, where it's basically, we're going to call it all water. Okay, let me describe it this way. In normal soil for crop production, we talk about there being roughly 50% dirt, 25% air, and 25% water. If you've got a situation where it's 50% dirt and 50% water, well, you're probably into the water table. That water table is going to come up from down below, and usually where we farm in the Midwestern United States, a lot of times that water table really rises early in the spring.
Well, and this is a big concern for
Got an
farmers.
idea of what is the water table? What it is?
Then there is 50% of soil.
50% of water, so that is beneath.
To access water and nutrients down in the soil throughout the growing season. If you've got a water table that's rising, wherever that water table is, that water is going to fill what would have been airspace. And if there's no air in the soil, well, roots can't survive, and soil microbes are going to have a tough time too. So we want to keep that water table in check.
So whether it's around your house or it's out in your field, that's where we talk about drain tile. And the purpose of drain tile, for example, let's say even you get a 2-inch rain. Well, that doesn't mean that your tile line is going to run. The only way the tile line runs is if at the same time.
But at your house too, when you've got tile.
The next point.
Drying of vegetation and extension of
Arid.
lands leading to an increase in the frequency of droughts and floods. Silting of rivers and canal beds.
Silting of rivers, you want to see? Saying silting of rivers, destroying our biodiversity. What's happening? All the fauna around, all the vegetation around is going below the bed of the river. They are removed from the riverbed and placed on the river banks. What happens here? This part does not have any support because there are no trees growing over there. So that falls into the river and obstructs the flow of the river. Silting and shallowing the river flow. So because all these side things are getting into the river, the river becomes more shallow. Got it? Silting. Then recurrence of landslides, adverse effect on economic prosperity and cultural development. Huh? Yeah. Oh, natural vegetation, we'll start with it now. Oh, this is something very interesting chapter. This chapter is clear, no? All concepts. After going home once, revise everything. Okay, so firstly, vegetation involves what all? What does vegetation involve? Whatever is growing naturally. Okay. Like if we have made some kind of a garden and all that, or we have ourselves planted trees, that's not a part of the natural vegetation. Now here we'll come to, you can go through the chapter afterwards, you read. I'm coming to important functions. Okay. First is the productive function, second, protective, third, regulatory, and fourth, accessory. What is the first one? Productive. First is productive. Second is protective. Third is regulatory. Fourth is accessory. So what all is a part of the productive function of the vegetation? Various trees provide us with products such as fruits, leaves, roots, tubers of plants. Wood is used for making furniture as well as industrial units. Wood and bamboo pulp are used for manufacturing paper, paper boards. Wood is used indiscriminately as a source of energy for cooking and for providing warmth. And for providing warmth. Before this, just copy this. That makes sense. Yeah, other than considerations. Make a favorite pieces. Make a proper document. See and where is drawing. Done. Okay. Forests provide products other than timber and firewood, including fibers like cloth if you want to make, essential oils. So oils like you use in your kitchen, groundnut oil, this, that. So all that is derived from forest products. Oil seeds, edible plants, bamboos provide a means of livelihood for the tribals who make mats, baskets, ropes using bamboo. It is also used in the manufacture of rayon, yarns, and artificial silk fiber. So productive function is what? What are the uses of the forest? Like what did we speak about? Timber. What else do you get? The bamboo which is used. This timber means wood. Same thing. Then what else? Roots, shoots, even roots are used, correct?
Fibers, essential oils.
Right, roots, fibers, essential oil. Oil. So many things we get from forest. So productive functions are those where we are utilizing the forest for our needs. Then is a protective. Forests control the water flow. The thick layer of humus in the forest prevents evaporation of water. So in what way is the forest protecting, preventing erosion? Preventing erosion. The humus acts as a natural sponge and helps to soak the rainwater in the soil. The forest with its complex root systems binds the soil, thereby preventing soil erosion and loss of nutrients. So what are the two things? Preventing soil erosion and preventing loss of Nutrients. The thick humus over the years is formed by the decay of forest litter, which increases the fertility of the soil. So what is it doing? Protective function is what? Preventing soil erosion, isn't it? Preventing erosion and what else? Preventing loss of nutrients, preventing soil erosion and loss of nutrients. Then increases fertility. So similar lines ho gaya. Okay. Then is the regulatory function. Regulatory क्या है? Trees utilize carbon dioxide and release oxygen during photosynthesis. So it is helping in regulating the oxygen cycle. Okay, or the carbon cycle. So oxygen is released by the trees, is used by the animal world, correct? Thus the trees perpetuate the cycles of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the biosphere. Biosphere is what? Biosphere? Yeah, where all life forms exist. Right, this I will actually the title. So this is regulating what? Regulating the oxygen and carbon dioxide cycles. Cycle regulation. Right? It helps in regulating means it helps in balancing and maintaining these cycles in the biosphere. What is the biosphere? You have the three spheres. Yes, one is the hydrosphere, as you said. Yes, one is the lithosphere, and the third is the atmosphere. This is land, this is water, and this is air. So here this part, which is a combination where all three exist, this is the biosphere. That is where we are. Okay, so this is the lithosphere. This is the hydrosphere.
So we are biosphere. We are biosphere.
We are biosphere because we have land, we have air, and we have water. This is atmosphere. Okay, so we are this. So this was the regulatory function. Next comes accessory function. There's more. Trees absorb water from the ground, release water during transpiration into the atmosphere, which helps to form clouds, and precipitation, which brings water again to the soil, thus completing the water cycle. So it also helps in regulation of which cycle? The water cycle. Then accessory functions. Accessory functions of the trees means that forests provide habitat for wildlife, a place to live for the wildlife. Forests also provide aesthetics and recreation. Aesthetics means you feel good, it looks beautiful, so that additional added advantage to human beings. Okay, and recreation. Recreation means you'll go paragliding, you'll go sailing, you'll go whatever, you'll go for trekking, right? So all that is recreation through national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and biosphere reserves. So what all comes as a part of the accessory function? First is habitat for wildlife, correct? Place for wildlife to live. Habitat for wildlife. Then next was what? Aesthetic. Aesthetics and recreation. Okay. Okay. And now we come to the types of vegetation. I'll be showing it now. Here. What are the names? We write on the names. Tell me the first one, tropical. Yeah. First you have the tropical, evergreen forest or the rainforest. Then you have the deciduous. Then what is next in order?
Dry deciduous forest,
That is divided into wet and dry.
tropical desert forest,
Tropical desert. Yes. Then littoral.
littoral or tribal forest,
Littoral and then would be corn, no?
or tribal,
Huh?
or tribal.
I didn't get you. What did you say?
Forest.
Mountain. After that is corn in order. No? Corn forest we don't have. So that this would be corn desert. So now those types. See what is this? Which is this one? The first one. Tropical evergreen forest. You can see it's all green. There's a lot of rainfall. There are animals there. You can see big, tall trees and trees of different levels, at different levels. You have trees, small shrubs and small plants, little bigger trees and even more big trees. Okay, so you have different levels over here. So tropical evergreen or rainforest. Which areas are these found in? See this green color? Here. In areas of heavy rainfall, these would be found. Okay, so where there is green color here. So temperature between 25 and 27. Amount of rainfall is more than 200. Okay, because where there are places of heavy rainfall, you have evergreen forest. क्या ये जबरदस्ती से खोल के बैठे उसका आग बंद के बैठे रात को what time you slept? Late. And you woke up at 7. That is enough, then still you are sleeping. So you had your 8 hours of sleep. 11 you must have not slept.
Yeah.
11 you must have not. You must have slept late. You slept at what time?
I'm at 12.
And got up at 7. तो ये तो और 1 घंटा कम सोया है तो भी वो तू उठना ऐसा आँख खुल के बैठे कि इतना बंद हो हाँ what how he is sitting see तेरा ये हो रहा है आर्म स्ट्रेन हो रहा है Okay, so rainfall more than 200 centimeters found where western slopes of Western Ghats. Which are the western slopes of Western Ghats? This side here, see in this on the screen here, this side, and on the western slopes because you have winds falling from here. Western Ghats are somewhere over here. So the western slopes. क्योंकि rainfall यहाँ से आ रहा है. This is the rain shadow area. Okay, here you have lesser amount of rainfall falling. So in this area you have tropical deciduous forests. Means you have rainfall but there is lesser amount of rainfall here. Then dry forest here, this Rajasthan area. Okay, and this one patch. Mountain forest, where you have the Himalayas, where you have the Himalayan ranges, where you have the mountains. And mangroves. What are mangroves? That is this littoral, no? Swamps. I'll show you images later. Okay? So this is found in the western slopes of the Western Ghats, hills of northeastern region, and the island groups of Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar and Tamil Nadu coasts. Here this part. Their characteristics are, they are dense. Dense means thick. Okay? And have variety of trees and shrubs. Shrubs are small bushes. Trees reach a height of 60 meters or above due to the canopy of trees. Canopy is like that umbrella which is formed due to the trees. Herbs and grasses cannot grow. These forests do not have any fixed period of time for shedding of leaves. That leaf is written, that is leaves. Means what? That's why they appear evergreen. Like the deciduous trees, they have some fixed times, like some 2 times of the year that they shed their leaves. Whereas evergreen trees don't have a fixed time. What does that mean?
Evergreen trees shed their leaf at any time.
Means what is the connection here is that suppose you have evergreen trees, say if you have varieties, you have different varieties, no? Different species of evergreen trees also. So say if you have species A, B, C, D, E, 5 species. Now if they are evergreen trees, then species A will shed its leaves say in January. Species B will shed its leaves in March. Species C will shed leaves some other time. So means all of them don't shed their leaves at the same time.
So that's why the forest remain evergreen.
Yes, because one variety might be shedding its leaves, but the other variety is not. And in evergreen forest, they are all mixed varieties. They are not found like same variety together. So that's why the evergreen forest overall looks green throughout the year. अगर वो species A है तो उसका fixed time रहेगा. If it's A, it was January, तो वो Jan में करेगा. लेकिन अगर B है तो वो Jan में नहीं करेगा. B का कोई और time रहेगा shed करने का. Got it? So that's why we say that they do not shed their leaves at the same time of the year. ठीक है? Then the main varieties of trees are ebony, rosewood, mahogany, toon, chaplas, gurjan, sisu, tensur, etc. Okay, these ebony, rosewood, mahogany are the most important. तो learn करते हो तो ये definitely 3 करना. उसके बाद you can learn maybe 2 or 3 more. Okay. Then economically these forests were of high value as the timbers produced, the wood that you get from these trees were hard, durable and fine grained. So these are all very good quality wood which was used for furniture and for other things. These are all very expensive wood, like rosewood furniture is like how teak is, no? It's expensive. This is the next one. This is tropical deciduous forest or monsoon forest. Here you have dry and wet deciduous. Okay. On the basis of availability of water, these forests are classified into 2 types: moist deciduous and dry deciduous. अच्छा, ये deciduous कहाँ पे मिलते हैं? यहाँ पे this brown patch here. These are deciduous. Rainfall between 100 to 200 centimeters, less than evergreen. Temperature between 24 and 27, found in the areas of northeastern part of the peninsula along the foothills of the Himalayas. यहाँ पे. Okay, this side here, because this side is the leeward side, and यहाँ से जो आता है, those shed their this around the Chota Nagpur plateau. So along the foothills of the Himalayas, Jharkhand and Western Orissa, this entire part. The main characteristics are trees shed their leaves from 6 to 8 weeks during spring and early summer. These forests are the most commercially exploited forests in India. Means they are the most, अपने को अगर if we have any kind of our requirements, those are most economically got from the deciduous forest. Okay? अब वो क्यों होता है? Is see, these forests have trees found in pure stands. Okay, like if you want teak wood. Okay, these are the examples. See point number 5. So where you have sal, teak, arjun, mahua, sisham, palas, mulberry, simon, sandalwood. If you want sandalwood, then you will find all sandalwood trees together only. तो इट्स इजी टू एक्सप्लॉइट नो अगर एवरग्रीन होगा तो थोड़े 10-60 इधर मिलेंगे 10-60 इधर और मिलेंगे सो दैट्स डिफिकल्ट टू एक्सप्लॉइट प्लस एवरग्रीन में द फ्लोर ऑफ द दिस इज वेरी स्वम्पी तो वहां पे एक्सेस करना मुश्किल होता है एंड इट्स वेरी डेंस ओके सो दीज आर मोस्ट कमर्शियली एक्सप्लॉइटेड these forests have trees found in pure stands. They provide valuable timber and other forest products. Main trees are sal, teak, arjun, mahua, shisham, palas, mulberry, simon, sandalwood. These forests are commercially the most exploited ones as they provide timber and other forest products like sandalwood. सबसे काम के अपने जो रहते हैं human beings के and also the most exploited, so that is sad for those deciduous forests. Okay, then these are the moist deciduous. The moist deciduous. Now is the dry deciduous, the second type. Rainfall between 70 to 100. यहाँ पे क्या था? Rainfall 100 to 200. यहाँ पे your rainfall 70 to 100. Annual temperature between 23 and 27. Where are they found? Found in areas from the foothills of the Himalayas to Kanyakumari, except Rajasthan, West Bengal, and Western Ghats. Except Rajasthan, West Bengal, and the Western Ghats. Main characteristics: these forests survive in accordance with the climate conditions of that particular region. The forests on the wetter regions are moist deciduous, while in the drier areas are thorny bushes, because जहाँ पे dry रहता है वहाँ पे you will have thorny bushes. Teak and other trees are spread out in the northern parts of India and in the regions of higher rainfall in the Peninsula Plateau, along with patches of grass. कहाँ पे मिलता है? Teak in the northern parts, okay, and in the areas where you have higher rainfall, along with patches of grass. The trees of these forests completely shed their leaves and look like a vast tract of grassland. Okay. The main trees are teak, sal, tendu, amartas, rosewood, bale, kher, etc. They provide timber and other valuable products. Parts of these forests are also cleared to carry out agricultural activities. समझ गया ये वाला? Then which one is this? You can see and identify.
Dry.
These are desert. Next one. Dry हो गया. Dry ये क्या किया?
Solution is of the dry.
हाँ. These are of the next one. Which are they? The desert or thorn. कहाँ पे है ये? Tropical dry forest. Rainfall less than 50 centimeters. Temperature 25 to 27. Forests are found in Haryana, southwestern Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, central eastern Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and parts of Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. This is in these two patches over here that these dry deserts are found. Tropical deserts. Main characteristics: due to scanty rainfall, scanty means less amount of rainfall. They have xerophytic vegetation. Xerophytic means plants like cactus which have thorns. Trees of the forest are stunted. Stunted means short trees रहते हैं. Stunted means short. And have large patches of coarse grasses. Okay, बहुत area रहता है जहाँ पे you have coarse grass मतलब thick वाला grass रहता है ना वैसा ना the thin variety. Coarse grass. The trees of these forests remain leafless. Remember? The forests look like scrub vegetation. Scrub are small, like small shrubs, very small plants growing. Important trees: date palm, kher, bear, babul, neem, panju, kejri, cactus, etc. Bear, you know, no? Bear that we eat. So that grows in that, the trees of the bear are thorny only. You have seen? So, then the trees are economically valuable. क्या ड्रॉ कर रहे हैं? वो ये कुछ तो कर रहे हैं. See? Trees are economically valuable. The bare fruit is used for making pickle or beverage and is also eaten raw. Beverage means they make some sharbat out of it. Timber is hard and durable. Date palm is eaten raw. Date is what? Date sweet, no, khajur. Is eaten raw and is used as an astringent, as a decoction, etc. Astringent is something that has a cooling effect on your body. Neem leaves and its barks are used for making many health-related and beauty products. ये कौन सा है? The last type, littoral. What are these? You know, swamps. You all must have seen it here also, no? Around Vashi and all those mangroves. Swamp, pura pani, कीचड़ type. So these are swamps, and you see how their roots grow. See here, they have breathing roots. Okay, see here, you can see there's water here, and here it's growing in that swamp. Littoral or mangrove tidal forests. These forests are grown along the sea coast in wet, marshy areas, in river deltas, in tidal or other swampy areas. Found in the areas, where is it found? See here, 1, 2, 3, 4, these small patches over here. Of rivers along the eastern coast, the saline swamps of the Sundarbans in West Bengal, along the coast of Orissa and Andhra Pradesh. Main characteristics: these forests are dense, evergreen, and of varying heights. These trees have long roots submerged underwater and have pores which help them to breathe during tide. Because they are in water, so they are adapted to grow in a way where they can survive even with in a high tide. The tidal tree yields hardwood, which is strong and durable, and is used for making boats and boxes. Remember, hardwood tree is used for making furniture and all these other things like boats and strong boxes and all. Softwood is used for making paper pulp and things like that. Then the Indian tidal or mango, the most important tree is the Sundari tree. Which tree? Sundari tree. In the Ganga delta, from which the word Sundarbans is called. The Indian tidal or mangrove forests are considered the largest mangrove forests in the world. These mangrove forests are one of the most productive and biodiverse wetlands on the earth. These forests have nicely adapted to the muddy, shifting, saline conditions and grow in the brackish, marshy areas. Okay, brackish is where there is that unclean, swampy water. Okay, then mud flats and estuaries along the coast. Estuary also. Estuary. It is the tidal mouth of a large river where the tide meets the stream. See this? Here you have a river, this side you have land. Here it's meeting the sea or a bigger stream. This deposited mud or marsh. मतलब वो land नहीं रहता है और water भी नहीं रहता है. So it's marshy over there. See this? How estuaries are.
इतनी कम उम्र में कैसे हो? डंजो डेली हुआ।
जब डंजो डेली पे मिलती है सबसे ताजा ग्रोसरीज 19 रुपए में तो और फ्रिज में क्या?
In this video, we will learn how estuaries are formed. An estuary is basically an area where a freshwater river or stream meets the ocean or sea. In estuaries, the salty ocean water mixes with the freshwater river, resulting in brackish water. Brackish water is somewhat salty, but not as salty as the ocean. Now you may have a question, what is holding this river water and ocean water from staying there? How is the brackish water staying at one place? Why isn't the river water not mixing with the sea or ocean completely? The answer to this question depends on the types of estuaries. There are 3 different kinds of estuaries, each created in a different way. I'm going to explain each of them one by one. The first one is coastal plain estuaries built by sandbar. If you ever go to a coastal area, you will find a small the sea or ocean. Obviously, the land elevation towards the sea has to be low, as well as washes away a lot of sediment. Sea has to be low. You will find a small pool of water.
Estuary समझिए ना, where this you have this kind of marshy land, which is between the river and the ocean or the sea, and also water which is brackish is also being elaborated here, where fresh water and salt water are meeting. So the water is, you cannot consider the water to be fresh water also. You cannot use it for drinking purposes and all in households. And it is not ocean water. वहाँ पे mix हो चुका है, but पूरी तरह से नहीं. Okay. Then so what did we say? That these forests, point number 7. What's the point? क्या है but?
These forests are nicely adapted to muddy, shifting, saline conditions and grow in the brackish, marshy areas, mud flats and estuaries along the coasts.
Alright, so saline conditions, because over there at the estuary the water is saline. Time हो गया. Okay. Next point, ये complete कर लेते हैं. The important trees are
The important trees are the Sundarii Golden, the Keora, Rhizopora, Amur, Bahara, Icse, etc. The little forests are economically important due to the mangrove trees are utilized for fuel while the Sundarii trees provide hard durable timber and is used for making boards and homes.
Next part हम लोग next week. Just revise once, okay? Everything that we have done, घर पे जाके एक बार revise कर लो. ये होमवर्क कब करते रहोगे? तो 2-3 चैप्टर्स हो जाएंगे उसके बाद करोगे. हाँ? So next week will you all complete it? You all do it because next week, see, I'll be completing this little bit of this chapter that is left and also doing the next chapter. So you will have 2 chapters का homework. तो better जो पहले का pending है वो complete कर लो. चलो bye.